Right. Hey guys, well, just got the Redcat Ascent about 2 weeks ago. Of course, can't leave well enough alone. Did some custom mods with some NeoPixel LEDs, front lights. Also, you can barely see it, but you'll see it in a second. LED strip in there as well. Got some tails, custom printed tail. I'll show some more, more of a technical breakdown if you want to stick around for the video, but there's those. But then the real fun starts with this. Downlights, some crazy NeoPixel lighting there. So kind of for shits and giggles, right? So it does that, it starts up, and then it just goes to normal mode. But then, of course, because it's dark, that's why I'm out here, got night mode. So I got a sort of a low mode. So some downlights in there. Let's see, a couple there. Got downlight under there. Yeah, blurry, sorry. Front downlight, and then that's sort of low mode. That's bright mode. So let's see how this thing plays in my backyard testing ground here. So let's see what we can do with this. I'm gonna do this one-handed while I'm filming, so bear with me. The idea is to see how well does this sort of light up the territory. I think it does a pretty good job. Kind of shows what's going on underneath. You've got obstacles or whatever. Again, if that's too bright, we can go down a level, sort of to medium mode. It's not too dark right now, so that works as well. And hell, again, for fun, we can do one of those. Really confuse everybody, psychedelic. Yeah, so I thought I'd show that off. You want to stick around through this video. I'm gonna sort of give more of a sort of a breakdown and a teardown of how I built this and what it consists of, but it's a lot like what I did for my my Capra as well. Right, so let's do a little bit of a walkthrough of these custom LED mods that I've done, NeoPixel mods, downlights, front lights, pardon the camera view, but yeah, some downlights there, and then tail lights there. Why don't we start with that? So custom 3D modeled these this bar, taillight bar, if you want to call it that, and obviously did the lenses. I did this similar thing with my Capra as well. So modeled these lenses and the bar. I'm using a new material, PA6 carbon fiber. So super tough stuff, nylon based. So really, really good, much better than the PLA I've been using, which tends to break. That's not my bed, but I love it. So I actually ordered the print from Cults 3D. I think it's Darren. I'll put a link up to his page for that. You can actually buy the STL and print it, or you can actually go to Etsy and buy the actual bed and print it as well if you're interested. So love it, fits well. I did some mods to mine. I know that's not the subject of this video, but I did some honeycomb stuff and some water drainage holes because with the GTA crawlers, we like to go into the water a lot. So anyway, so I wanted to sort of talk a little bit more about what I built here and how I built it and whatnot. So let's pop this guy off, show you some of the features. Hang tight. Stupid thing. There we go. Okay, got it. So I guess the first part is the front lights. So again, as I showed earlier, I've got these controlled by this guy here. So the actual downlights, 2 levels, off, medium, and high, are controlled by this 3-way switch here on my remote. So I can flip those different levels and then off. And then channel 3, which is just it's a 2-way switch, basically reads the levels and triggers this rainbow fade mode on all the lights. So this is actually one Neo strip with, I think it's 11 or 12 pixels all throughout. I've actually blanked 2 of them. You can barely see in here so that they don't meld or mix the coloring between what I want for here and what I want for this. So and per my other videos, these are individually addressable LED light strips. If you bear with me for a second, that is what these are. They look like this. So you can talk to every single pixel, and that's what I do in code. I'll pop that up here for a second and show you an example, but basically, great thing about this is everything's controlled in code once I, build what I'm building here. But so this guy I used a magnetic connector on, because that way I can take the body off and just disconnect this really quickly and set it aside. The rest of them are just hardwired into this box here. That's in the middle of waterproofing it right now. It's only halfway there. I've got to do a bit more waterproofing on this, but I modeled all of these strips and these cases to be waterproof and watertight, so they're sealed really well. I've used I used to use goop, and it's still my go-to. I used to use this stuff. It works really well. I used it all over the Capra when I'm in terms of sealing the lighting. But I've used resin this time, which makes a much nicer finish. Lets you barely see it, but it's kind of a shiny surface there you can see, and it levels flat because it's very fluid when you pour it in. So I basically do a pour, let it dry, and then finish mounting and whatnot. So it's rock solid. It will take a hit on the rocks as well. And protect the LEDs from those bangs. So I did that here, and with these two as well. They're slightly angled. They have 3 pixels each. They angle down. As you saw earlier, I'm going to probably model 2 more of these, maybe in the space here, or inside here or something like that, just with maybe only 2 pixels angled this way, because I'm not getting enough lighting right here. So yeah, so that's basically it. And I mentioned how I program these. I use, this is my go-to nowadays. I use 2 different devices that are really the same thing. This is the Siege Zhao. Love these things. They're ESP32 S3s, I think. S3s or C3s, one of the 2. They have all kinds of extra features that I don't really need, like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But if forever in the future I want to do custom changes to my sequences, I'm not going to use the transmitter I can't do that because I'm already using up the channels, but I could make an app for my phone if I ever want to get that crazy, but the option's always there. I've used an app called Blink before. Blink is my go-to app for doing sort of remote modification or remote changes to devices, and they were done over Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, so this would be Bluetooth in this case. Anyway, this guy is cheap. You could easily get away using a very simple AT-Tiny, AT-Tiny 8 or smaller microcontroller, but I don't want to have to build all that. I build all the power control and whatnot, whereas these things come all built, lots of I/O. This was like $3, right? It's really a no-brainer with these things, even though it's way overpowered for this function. There's many I/Os. I used about 5 outputs. Sorry about that dizzy camera there. 5 outputs, I think, for these LEDs strips, and I have the option to go more if I need to. And this time I built the board in here. I built a breakout board that just has multiple 5-volt input outputs, plus obviously bringing out all of these GPIO pins for me to connect things in the future if I want to. But I'm really limited by the control I have on the remote, right? So really in this particular remote, the Redcat one, I have only 2 other channels. I could do some funky mixing probably with the channels and the push button. I could do that too as well, but I'm not going to go there. Don't need to, really. It's like, this is more for fun. I'm pretty happy with this. The goal was really to get the ability to get rock lights going for night crawling, and obviously put some bit of a bling on something that I always like to bling up everything I buy. So yeah, so anyway, I've done this before with my Capra, and if anybody wants code, happy to share the code. I generally don't do it just because usually people just love to look at this, but I could share the STLs, but there's a lot of, you got to know a lot about Arduino or Platform IO to build code and modify to and also to build this stuff. If you're into this, great. Yeah, this is right down your avenue. But if you're not doing 3D printing and whatnot, it just took me a lot of work, easily 10+ hours to do these things. Oh, by the way, I also modeled a battery holder for this. I use these batteries in my Capra. They're sort of a mini 3S battery, 11 volt, but I wanted to protect the balance charge wire. It tends to just fall through and hang out, and when you really get into working the rocks and whatnot, I don't want to get it caught up in here, and I wanted to keep this out of the way and just protect this area here. So I modeled that up there as well. Yeah, and also those I mentioned earlier about the bed. There's also, I got this from Darren as well. He sells the STL for this, which protects the spur gear, which is awesome because it's like Redcat leaves that wide open and you can see all these cables bouncing around here. Not a good idea when you're sort of banging around in the bushes. So it's a must-have. I also printed that in the PA6 carbon fiber as well. Rock solid, it's tough as hell. I love this stuff. This one I did in PA. I didn't really care to have, didn't need to have that sort of rock solid. It's just holding the battery. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Hope you liked it. Want to see more of this? You know, drop a comment. I'd like to see, you know, what other ideas you have. Like and subscribe, please. I don't do videos as much as I'd like to because I have a full-time job, but one day I hope to be doing this regularly, so please hang around. And I do put links to different things that I buy and do in my in the description, so please, it helps me. It doesn't cost you any more. It's really just small change. You know, I don't make a ton of money off this. It's not my source of income, but it helps me buy more stuff to hobby with and then do these builds and then show them off. So you know, really appreciate that support. So thanks. Take care.